I'll make a croissant and I'll put Hidden Valley Ranch powder in the butter and Cool Ranch Doritos on the top. And I know somewhere there's a Frenchman rolling over in his grave. I'm not gonna do that to a croissant unless I can make a croissant, right? So I'm always gonna master the basics before I go and bastardize it. You can't reinvent the wheel, but you can make the wheel better. And I think as a whole, as pastry chefs across the board, that's what you're seeing people doing. They're taking those classics and amplifying them and making them more modern and more better. I'm Rebecca Masson, and I'm the pastry chef owner of Fluff Bake Bar in Houston, Texas. It took me a really long time to figure out that pastry and baking was what I wanted to do with my life. Went to the University of Wyoming to do my undergrad in accounting, which comes in handy now. And I liked creating things and watching people eat them and the smiles that it brought them. It made me happy to see it happen. And I got it. I understood what I was doing, and I had no formal training. And so after college, I went to Breckenridge to be a snowboard bum for a few years, but I kept baking. I guess after like 5 years of being a snowboard bum, I decided I needed to do something real, and accounting wasn't what I wanted to do. And then I discovered the Cordon Bleu online, and I started looking into it. And so on a whim, I applied, and the next thing you know, I got in between Cordon Bleu and getting paid for what I was doing. I had an internship. Monsieur Marchal was the chef at the Hotel Bristol. That was more frightening to me than school. My first day, I was terrified. I had been a pastry chef in a restaurant or a small hotel, and I had worked for somebody. I finally got to this point where I didn't feel like I was getting paid what I was worth. And Ryan, Para, Morgan, Weber came to me and they said, hey, we're gonna open this little market in the Heights and we're gonna have a pastry case. Do you wanna fill it? And I went, okay. I went and bought some full-size sheet pans. I grabbed my mixer that my mom bought me back in the early 90s and found a commissary where I had an 8-foot table, and I just started. For the first 4 years of Fluff, I never saw my customers because they'd go to Revival Market or they'd go to Inversion Coffee or they'd go to Agora. And it wasn't until I opened in Midtown that I saw their faces for the first time. So that was cool. My lease was coming up in Midtown, and unfortunately they wanted to raise my rent to a price that I couldn't make that many cookies. And I found this space in the Heights and I fell in love with it. At the end of January, we closed Midtown and hurried up and tried to open. The city of Houston closed restaurants to indoor dining on March 18th. We opened on March 20th. The first day was terrifying. My friends Aaron and Patrick Vigis, who had already set it up and gone through the online ordering, so they were here to talk me off the ledge. You know, I had a super limited staff. I had one person. And so we just said, okay, we're just gonna make what we can. We can't ask chefs to come here when they're trying to keep their restaurants alive. So we just started calling up our friends in barbecue places and like, yo, can I get 10 pounds of chopped beef this weekend? And we make kolaches. It's my way of turning around and supporting my friends who are also struggling. Recently, someone told me that tough times go away, tough people don't. After this year, I pretty much feel like I can survive anything. You just have to wake up every day and say, okay, what can I accomplish today? What can I do? How can we help each other? Because without each other, we're not gonna get anywhere. And I think that's a huge, huge positive thing about Houston.